All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with the screen share for this Thursday 4-game NBA slate. I got my guy Hoop with me. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Not the Tambo Hoop Show. It's the Nades and Hoop Show, just like Monday nights. We're bringing it to you live tonight. We got some news to talk about Hoop. We got a little 4-gamer here. NFL, you boys just jumped off the Mayo Media Network for the Thursday Night Football Showdown show. So head over there if you have not checked that out and you are playing NFL. All three of you guys talked through that. Very good. It was an excellent show. Hoop, I'll bring you in right away, man. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, doing well. Obviously we got the NFL game. A lot of people are disappointed with the matchup tonight, the Titans and Steelers. But if you tuned into the show, I think there's some hope for the game. I don't necessarily hate it. I think there's a chance we see some scoring, which would be great. But we have 4 NFL games. Waiting on a little bit of news. Zion was just ruled out. Brandon Ingram is still questionable. So that's some pretty big news. It could turn into a situation where we're going heavy on the New Orleans guys. And then Duran still questionable as well. That's pretty big news. Bagley got the start last night and played a lot. So 2 pretty key pieces of news. I guess one more too with Devin Booker, who is questionable. That would kind of change the slate. But yeah, we'll go through and kind of talk ifs, ends, and see what we can find for this slate. But solid 4-gamer for sure tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I see some guys in the chat here. Newens, our boy, always in here. Newens, my fellow Wisconsinite guy, absolutely crushes the NBA. Love to see him in here. Everyone in here, Gator Nation, Tweezy. Romy says, back to back with Hoop. Hoop's pulling a double duty shift here. We're shipping tonight. That's the goal. Yeah, we're going to do a double shipper here. Triple shipper, actually, because we got NHL over here. Don't forget about no NHL. We got 12-game slate for NHL. All my content cores have been up for about the last 2 hours already. Feeling locked in. Got the show up here right here on this channel. So if you are interested in NHL, not a flashy sport by any means, but we've been printing money all season long in there. Obviously, the NFL Showdown. I'm kind of in camp Hoop. It feels good to be lockstep with Mr. Hoop here. I expect there to be points in this game. I'm playing at that angle. Everyone seems to be playing like, hey, this game sucks. Oh, let's cry about it, right? Halloween, blah, blah, blah. Like, this game's going to be gross. I'm playing – Let's play the skill positions, hope for points. I'm not playing no 50% on defenses. I'll tell you that. So I'm in camp Hoop. Hopefully that goes well. But we got an NBA to talk about. 4 games. You talked about some news here. In terms of totals on this slate, two totals sitting under 220, and then we got 2 over 220. Obviously, Utah, Orlando, the 2 late games have the highest totals, with the highest total being that last game, Phoenix, right? And the Spurs, which obviously the Spurs the other night, incredible comeback by them. That team with Victor Wemby there, it's going to be pretty fun to watch. So that's obviously the talking point of this slate. The 2 games later, highest totals. These early 2 games definitely have the lower totals. And let's start out with this first game, Hoop. We got Toronto and Philly here. 216 total here. Kind of a pace down spot overall. For Philly. Toronto's kind of neutral on this game. And one guy I want to throw out right off the top, we were kind of talking pre-show, Scotty Barnes. I mean, this guy has been absolutely nuking. His price is at the highest point it's been all season at 8,200 here, but he hasn't gone for under 44 DraftKings points, including the same Philly matchup. He went for 46 a couple nights ago. Talk on that. Where else are you going in this game? Obviously, got Joel Embiid, one of the studs on the slate to talk about. What are you interested in this one?
I like the Scotty Barnes nugget for sure. 8,200. He's been between basically like 40 and 50 all season long. We're talking a 4-game slate. Like, this isn't a 12-game slate where we need our 8K guys to go out and get us 50 or 55. Like, if you went out and got us 45, like, you're happy with that. So I like that call. And the other nice thing about him is he's guard and forward eligible. You can play him in a lot of different spots. Ownership, I don't think it's anything to really worry about on the slate. So, yeah, I like that call. Embiid, I think, is definitely the stud to go to on the slate, coming off 2 monster games, 63 and then 81 favorable matchup. Obviously, last time out against these guys, he got to 63. So, shooting it a lot, very effective, and really, across the board, 6, 8, 7 assists in the first 3 games. Like, if he's going to continue to rack up those numbers in the assist column, like, he's going to continue to put up big boy fantasy scores. So definitely like him. He's the stud that I want to spend on tonight. Kelly Oubre at 5.8K. I mean, not the sexiest play, but should get some additional playing time. I think he gets closer to 30 minutes tonight. 5.8K. If you can get into the 30 fantasy point range, you take that. Tobias Harris, a guy that I always like to play, 7.1K. Probably more of like a cash game play, but he's playing a lot of minutes, 37, 36, 38 minutes in those first 3 games. And coming off a 39 fantasy point game, I'm fine playing him in tournaments as well. 4-game slate, you're going to get a lot of minutes from him. I mean, he's going to play minutes. There's no way around it. So those are kind of the 3-ish, 4-ish primary plays for me on the slate in this game. Embiid, I like the Scotty Barnes call. Tobias Harris, and then Kelly Oubre, I don't mind as a cheaper option in this game.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I'm kind of with you here. Joel Embiid, I think right now is my favorite stud on the slate. And especially if Devin Booker gets ruled out, you're going to see ownership flock to Kevin Durant. Obviously, Kevin Durant's cheaper. Devin Booker's still questionable right now. I don't have a good read personally. I'm not, I'll be honest, I'm not super ingrained in NBA yet with just so much going on, Hoop, that following these injury notes, but that's what we got. Obviously, all the content and our projections have been crushing. I still throw a core up every night. Cored my boy Jordan Clarkson last night, who nuked the slate. Had a great night last night in the NBA streets. So we got it all over here, but keep an eye on Devin Booker, because if Devin Booker is ruled out, I do think Kevin Durant becomes obviously the stud of the slate. The only issue is, Hoop, this game locks 3 hours before that game. So we definitely not going to get that news. Could see people maybe backload, right? Backload a little bit, wait, get their NFL stuff situated. So you might see Joel Embiid come in a little lower owned here. And you talked about it, right? Just dropped 63 on the same squad, 81 last game against Portland. Now comes back here in a pretty close spread overall. He played 35 minutes in that game too, against Toronto here. It's a great matchup. Centers have crushed Toronto so far this season. So Joel Embiid, probably my favorite stud on the slate. He is the highest priced guy, but we're going to get some value. I already saw the Hawkins talk on New Orleans, right, in that game there with some value. So we should get some value to be able to play him. And then I actually like Scotty Barnes here. He's not projecting very good. I think his ownership gets held in check, and this guy is just absolutely crushing. Picks up a ton of peripherals out here. I mean, like I said, hasn't scored under 44 DraftKings points in any game this season yet. Doing it all. I mean, getting assists, picking up blocks. He's scoring. He's getting up rebounds. I mean, double-double in both of his last 2 games. Just missed a double-double against Philly and still put up 46 points. So he gets that double-double. You would have saw he would have been over 50 again in this same matchup here. So Scotty Barnes at his highest price point, I just think, nope, not many people are going to go to him. And I really like the secondary correlation there. Obviously, correlation's not huge in NBA, but going to Scotty Barnes and a guy like Kelly Oubre, right? Kelly Oubre is a shooter. Pretty good matchup for him overall. Obviously scored 33 DraftKings points last time, a couple nights ago against this squad. He's a shooter. So Scotty Barnes is banging, right? Kelly Oubre on the outside. Maybe they start crashing Embiid, right? In the paint, he kicks it out. Kelly Oubre is knocking down some threes. So I really like that little duel, little 2-man stack there. It is the lowest total on the game, so I don't expect a ton of ownership overall to go to this game. So I do like some of these early plays. Joel Embiid, Scotty Barnes, and then Kelly Oubre are my favorite. So pretty locked arm in arm with you here, Hoop, in this one. Any additional thoughts on this game before we jump into the Detroit game? Your Detroit Pistons, I should say.
Yeah, my Detroit Pistons. Yeah, was at the home opener on Saturday, rooting in the victory against the Bulls, and now they're on the road, New Orleans. This game is definitely one that we're going to need some additional news. So Zion was ruled out, which immediately boosts a lot of these guys. But Brandon Ingram is also questionable. And if he were to miss, then this is going to turn into a spot where we're just kind of loading up on New Orleans on a 4-game slate, very tight rotation. So we're going to have to see what goes on with Brandon Ingram. This game is 8 Eastern, so an hour after lock. Probably get the news. As it stands now, I think Valanciunas is a good play. McCollum, TJ McCollum's a phenomenal play. Herbert Jones is a solid play. You talked about Hawkins, who played 37 minutes last night. Definitely interested in him. His projection's not great here, but I think that just has to do with a newer name here. But he's, I think, a strong play at 46. And then if Ingram's ruled out, all those guys become even better plays, and you're going to want to play probably at least three New Orleans guys in your lineups tonight, and potentially like up to 4. So something to monitor. Should have the news or content will reflect all this. On the Pistons side, Duran questionable as well. Now, if he were to sit, then we're going right back to Marvin Bagley, who played I think 33 minutes. Just wanted to verify that last game. Yeah, he played 33 minutes, and he would become a solid option. He's down at 4.4K, become a very solid value option. Burks is questionable. That's not as important. The big news is Jalen Duren, who's been a beast so far this season. Didn't play yesterday. We have to see. Then guys like Cade and also Thompson. I really like this guy. He's 6'6" now. The price is coming up, but he's been very productive. Isaiah Stewart's a guy we could look to. So this game kind of needs some news. We already have solid plays. I think McCollum's a great play. I think Valanciunas is a great play regardless. I think Herbert Jones is playable. I think Jordan Hawkins is playable on the New Orleans side. All those plays can only get better if Ingram is to be ruled out. On the Pistons side, we need to see on Durant. If he's out, then this becomes probably the premier game on the slate where we're just playing a lot of guys. There's going to be 5 to 6 viable guys on both sides of the ball. So we need to get this news. This game starts an hour after lock. Should have it probably, a little before lock time, essentially, is what I'm thinking. But it's a good spot as is, and it can only get way, way better if these guys are both ruled out.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at some usage numbers here, taking Zion off the court. Obviously, it's a limited sample, right, of this season. But a guy like Brandon Ingram, obviously, no doubt, right, the stud on the slate picks up. He's got almost a 7% usage boost, a little over 7% usage boost. But my favorite play in this game right now, as it stands, even if Ingram's in, is actually Herb Jones at 5,500. We got him at about a neutral projection right now. He actually picks up almost a 7% usage boost just with Brandon Ingram off the floor, and that makes, not Brandon Ingram, Zion, right? And it makes sense, right? A lot of those peripherals, rebounds, things like that, go to Herb Jones. He can score as well, and he's 5,500. It's the price, it's the matchup. It's also shooting guards and wings have smashed this Detroit Pistons team so far this season. So Herb Jones at 5,500, like him a lot. And I see some talks in the chat. Another guy, Dyson Daniels, 4,200. I think everyone obviously is going to run to the Hawkins, right? Just played a ton of minutes last night. Hawkins at 4,600, I think is going to pick up more ownership than a guy like Dyson Daniels, especially recency bias. And Dyson Daniels, plus a 4% usage boost when you take Zion off the court. And if you take Ingram off the court as well, that even goes higher. He jumps to the top of the list in terms of usage. Obviously, CJ McCollum there as well. So this game heavily relying on news. I don't have a great lean either way. We should get this news. And 2 massive pieces, right? Brandon Ingram and Jalen Duren. Duren's been amazing all season long, complete stud. So if he's off, we're definitely going to go back to what we saw last night, right? Thompson in there. We're probably going to get the Marvin Bagley starting again, right? If Jalen Duren's there, Bagley, 4,400 for him. He becomes almost a must play, in my opinion. Answer Thompson, like I said, this guy dealt with some foul trouble issue yesterday. Didn't totally get there, but he didn't kill you. I had him in my team. Still had a great night with him in there. He's 6,600. His price is starting to come up. And then Cade Cunningham. I mean, this guy has been lighting the hoop on fire, man. This guy is everything you guys thought, right? He's a pure shooter. He's going to go out there and just chuck. I mean, 27 field goal attempts last game against Portland. I mean, he's going to go out there and fire. So I think this is a great game to target, especially if we got news, right? News leads to shortened rotations, extra minutes for these guys. My 2 favorite plays as it sits right now are Herb Jones and then Dyson Daniels. But that's fully reliant on Ingram sitting. If Ingram doesn't sit, I do think Ingram becomes a great play in this matchup as well. Let's jump on to the next game. Before we do, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hoop. Have we surpassed 4,000?
Well, it's close. I think Tambo said like 12 away when we got off the show. Let's see where we're at now. It was very close at the end of the show. Right prior to we're close. We need just a few more. So a little push, get us to that 4K. We really appreciate all the support.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we hit that 4,000, obviously you guys did give away that 6-month membership on the last show, but now we're on a tour for 5 after we surpass that. Hopefully get to 5,000 subscribers sooner than later, and we're going to give away a year package right here to SHIPITNation.com. We do not have no promo codes going on right now. Unfortunately, we gave a ton of time, right, Hoop, to get in at NBA 10. We're already the cheapest in the industry, have been printing money in every single sport, NHL. I mean, even sports, Hoop, that we don't publicize our own content for. We got members in the Discord, college football, NASCAR, things like that are absolutely crushing. I mean, I go in the college football Discord all the time, and our guy in there is absolutely crushing with these screenshots. Smarty. Yeah. I mean, it's literally like you're going to the ticket window, right? The bank, and just saying, hey, I'm gonna take a bunch of money out right now because every slate he's crushing it in there. So head over to SHIPITNation.com. $69 a month does get you access to all of our premium content, including our projections, which I think we have hands down the best projections in the industry. Not just saying that because I've been here. I've been using Boomer's projections for my entire life, including last NBA season, and it was my best NBA season yet. And I think our members are seeing that early on here, Hoop, as well. So SHIPITNation.com. $69 a month gets you access to all of our premium content behind the paywall. Let's jump into this Orlando-Utah game here. The one game that I don't think there's a ton of news here in this one, and you're kind of see it on the chart here, right, from our value projections. Obviously, you see these projections as they stand as of 2:22 p.m. They're going to change. That's why we're fine showing them off right now. As you know, NBA, right? If you lock in early, you can be strong dead before tip-off even hits. So got to constantly change an NBA. But I'll kick it over to you. Got Banchero, Wendell Carter projecting decent in this game. My boy Jordan Clarkson coming back, 5,400 for him after a great night last night. Touch on this one. Where are you looking in this one?
Yeah, I think Clarkson's probably my favorite, like you said. I mean, you were on him last night. He performed very well. What was it, 39 fantasy points, I believe. Big boy number. He got 39 and a half. Kind of did a little bit of everything, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, knocked down some threes. Like, this is the sort of player he is. He's dangerous. He can go out there and score and rack up a lot of fantasy points in a hurry. Perfect guy for like a smaller slate, like a 4-game slate. Like he's a guy I want to be on. You know, you're going to get a bunch of shot attempts. So I like him. I like John Collins as well. 5.6K. I mean, just been very steady all season. 35, 32, 29, 30, 28 and a half fantasy points. It's only 5.6K. So again, one of my favorite plays. I really like him. Orlando guys, I'm not as excited for, to be honest with you. Banchero showing up nicely here. Like, I don't love him. Like, I'd much rather play John Collins for $1,700 cheaper. Wendell Carter is coming in at 5.7. Like, he's projecting well, but don't like him all that much. Again, I would play Collins over him. They're both center eligible. I like Collins more. And like these borderline plays like Horton Tucker, I don't necessarily love him. Like, I just, he can get into the 30s. Like, we've seen him in the 30. He's got 33 and 32 fantasy points, but it's a low floor, and like the 33, it's not even really enough in tournaments. So I don't know. Don't really love him. I mean, my 2 favorite plays in this game by far, Collins and Clarkston, and don't really like too much else.
Yeah, I'm locked arm in arm. My 2 favorite plays by far, Jordan Clarkson and John Collins. It's the price point in the opportunity, right? Clarkson can get hot from the field. We kind of saw that last night, shooting some threes, get those 3-point bonuses, 5,400 for him. Pretty healthy projection we got him at right now. And then John Collins, consistent as well. Banchero is projecting pretty well for us. I tend to like to trust the projections, but you click on that game log and it's pretty gross. I mean, he's not showing a ceiling yet this season, right? His highest fantasy points is 33 coming off that last game against the Clippers there. And he's up to 7,300. So overall, I'm kind of under on this game, to be honest. And you can't play every spot, right? It's fine to fade a game. I think I'm going to be under on this game as relative to the other 3 games on the slate here. Pretty much the Detroit and Pelicans game and this last game we're going to talk about are kind of where I'm looking. I think it's going to be kind of the chalkier route hoop, but there's so many ways to get different in NBA DFS. And playing some of these lower owned pieces like Scotty Barnes from that first game, or Kelly Oubre, right, or a Herb Jones, someone like that. I think you can get different. So a little bit under on this game overall. Orlando, kind of a full fade for me here in this spot, and then just Clarkson and John Collins. Let's jump into the last game here, Hoop. We got the Spurs. We got Phoenix. Obviously, a lot relies on Devin Booker news. We're not going to get that before the lock. We might not even get that before tip-off of that Orlando-Utah game. So I would definitely bake your way into some 2v2 swaps, right? Because it is an island game here. And from a price standpoint, obviously, if Devin Booker's out, makes a lot of these guys much better plays, but it's just hard to build that way, especially with NFL, other things like that going on. I got some plans going on and stuff tonight. So if you guys want to backload and wait for this news, you could find your way into the stone nuts. But personally, I'm not doing it. Hoop, are you doing it?
Well, I don't even know like what you gain, to be honest, like to try to backload, because Booker's been out for a couple games here, so like the prices are now starting to come up a little bit. You have Eric Gordon at 5.5, Josh Okogie is at 4.5, Durant's all the way up to 10.8, and really hasn't been. It's not like he's been smashing with Booker out. Grayson Allen starts, but 5.1K. So the prices are like fully adjusted. So I think you're making a mistake if you go out there and try to backload waiting on this Devin Booker news. And it's not like if Booker's in, you're necessarily going to play him at 9.5K. He's got a full price tag. It's not like you're getting a price break by saying, oh, wait, I'm going to play Booker later. Like, you're paying the full price for him. You're not getting any sort of discount. So I don't see the upside in really backloading here, to be honest with you, one way or the other. Whether you think Booker plays or sits, there's just not much for me. And even Jordan Goodwin, he's 5.4K. So you're paying big boy price tags essentially for everyone that would benefit if Booker were to sit. And then if Booker plays, you're paying the big boy price tag for him at 9.5, which, yes, he could pay it off, but I think there's other spends on the slate. So long story short, I won't be backloading for this news. Our top projection in terms of value in this game is Nurkic, and I actually like him. 7K, like, he's got the 40 fantasy point upside. Foul trouble first 2 games, really didn't get there. Third game, it was a blowout, really didn't get there. Last game, he was solid. He put up 41 fantasy points, played 30 minutes, got you the double-double, got a couple blocks. And like this is the sort of game you'd expect from Nurkic. So at 7K, a little bit too cheap. So I do like him. The Spurs side is always going to be difficult, until we get some injuries or guys out at some point. Like, the prices are up there. Devin Vassal's up at 6.8, Collins at 6.3. My favorite's going to be Jeremy Sokan, if that's how you pronounce it. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure, but 5.6.
That's how we're going to pronounce it.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, it works perfect. 5.6. I'm fine with him. Like, he's had some solid games so far this season. Seems like a safe guy to get into the mid 20s, potentially into the low 30s. Like, I don't think he's like a great play by any means. And then, if you want some Victor at 7.9K, I'd be fine with that. But again, it's not like a great game for me. Like, my favorite game on the slate is definitely Detroit, New Orleans, and it could just be like a load up type spot if that news breaks the right way. I like those pieces in Toronto, Philly better than here. And then like Orlando, Utah, San Antonio, Phoenix, kind of similar for me. Just don't necessarily love it. But the big talking point for sure in this game is the Devin Booker news and what you do. I hope the competition goes out there and tries backloading, because I think it's a mistake. So that's the main takeaway for me in this last game. And then, like, if you're looking at Durant, I just definitely prefer Embiid by like a pretty wide margin tonight. I don't see a route to play both those guys.
Yeah, no, actually, it's interesting, right? You look at the usage so far this season that we've seen with Devin Booker off the floor. Kevin Durant, not even a 1% usage boost. And I think you kind of see that in the numbers, right? I think Durant is better with Booker in there, right? Because they can't just collapse. They can't just collapse on Durant, right? I mean, you got guys like Jordan Goodwin, Watanabe. Eric Gordon, Okogie, Grayson Allen. Like, are you scared of those guys? No, you're not scared of those guys. You're going to let those guys beat you. Are you going to let Kevin Durant be at as well? But when you throw a guy like Devin Booker onto the court next to KD, things change quickly. So I'm definitely on you there. Kevin Durant, I'm kind of off this game completely. I see some Zach Collins. One interesting note, Hoop, we just saw this game on Halloween, right? 2 days ago. And it was a close game. Obviously 115 to 114, the Spurs made that crazy comeback. Zach Collins does get a pretty good matchup, but when you look at the matchup numbers here for centers against this team, I mean, the good centers he played, I think that it's a little skewed when you got Anthony Davis in there and Jokic, right? Two of the best centers in the league. When you look at Kevin Looney and Walker Kessler put up 10 points and Kevin Looney put up 21. Obviously, Collins just put up 33.75. But do you have any thoughts on Zach Collins? He is up to 6,300. It is a pretty hefty price. It is only center eligible, obviously, which I already like Joel Embiid on this slate. So it means you got to play him in the util spot and lock up another center position. What's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, it's tough if you're going like Embiid. I like Nurkic, like we talked about, and I think there's another center that John Collins is center eligible too. So, I mean, there's a lot of centers that we like. So, yeah, you're going to be locking in the utility spot. I mean, I'm fine with him. 6.3K, I think is pretty fair. He's playing upper 20s into 30 minutes. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess when I do look at it a little deeper, it is probably my favorite. Him and Sokan, I think, are fine. But, man, like, I don't know how much I'll get to him just because of the position. I like those other guys more.
Yeah, one guy I did want to bring up is Drew Eubanks here at 4,500. You're talking about centers. You're talking about another center. I do like Nurkic here, 7K, but Drew Eubanks, 4,500. I mean, when he's gotten the minutes this year, 19 minutes, he's probably going to get anywhere from 17 to 20 minutes, I would say, which isn't great, but it's a 4-game slate, Hoop. It's the last game of the night. It is a good matchup here. He projects decent. Just put up back-to-back 25 DraftKings points game, and just put up 25 in the same exact matchup here. Eubanks, I mean, is interesting play here for me at 4,500. It's one differentiation piece. That's all you need on slates like this. So Drew Eubanks, I definitely have a little bit of interest in. And then a guy like Eric Gordon, it's just a matchup thing for me for Eric Gordon. Back-to-back decent games. Took 14 shot attempts in the last 2 games. Shot pretty well. Played 36 minutes this last time in the same matchup. Put up 31.5. I like those two guys a decent amount here with Nurk. And then on the Spurs side, I mean, Zach Collins maybe, but I'm just not too thrilled to play any of these Spurs when they're fully healthy, right? You just don't know who it's going to be. Devin Vassell, you got Sochan in there, you got Trey Jones, you got Wemby, you got Keldon, right? There's just so many guys that need the basketball that I'm kind of under overall, but I do like that Drew Eubanks, a little sleeper here in this spot.
So the Eubanks play gets a lot more interesting if the news doesn't go the right way in Detroit, New Orleans, and let's say Ingram's in and Durant is in, and we just don't have the value because you start looking around, like there's not a ton of cheap value. It's just nothing there, like below 5K. So he immediately would become a guy that I have interest in. I mean, at 4.5K, if he goes out and gets like 22 fantasy points, that probably is enough on the slate because I just don't see much value. So I do like that play.
Yeah, I mean, the values you're going to see are coming from that Utah side, right? The THT and the Clarkson. The only issue is those two directly eat into each other, in my opinion, right? Jordan Clarkson and Talen Horton-Tucker. Obviously, last game you saw that, right? Talen Horton-Tucker last night, 23 DraftKings points. Clarkson went off for 40, right? It's not too often you're seeing them go off, right? The game before that, Horton-Tucker, it was his game, 32, Clarkson 16, right? So they're directly correlated, in my opinion. I definitely would not play them together. And if you just run the optimizer, you're going to get those two together a lot because of their prices and their projections. It's just hard to factor that into projection. So that's one thing I would look at on this slate. But yeah, I definitely like Eubanks, especially if these guys are in. It's a little bit a harder play, right? If Duran's out, because then you get the Bagley, right? You get the Thompsons, you get the Detroit value in there. But it's a low-owned play that, could get you there on a 4-game slate. Any additional thoughts, Hoop, on this 4-gamer before we get on out of here?
Yeah, so I mean, the rest of the content will start to go up. I mean, waiting on a little bit of news. I know our guy Rio already has a nice, solid, strong base on that slate plan over there. It goes up early every single day, and he updates it as the news breaks. Kind of checked it out here before the show, and man, just quality content in there already, nice and early, so you can start going through and seeing what we're looking at here on the slate, waiting for any news. And then, like I said, he goes in and makes the changes. Core plays are up, titled, absolutely crushing the cash game stuff. And our goal, as always, like I say, want to get the stuff early, get it up early with the expectation, like anything changes, we'll go in there and make the changes for you in there and kind of highlight it. But we want stuff up early so our members can start having something to look at and start building those lineups on their own. So yeah, get on over there. We have the NFL stuff already going up for the showdown slate tonight. So yeah, and NHL as well. You run the entire NHL program, got an NHL slate going. So a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a very low price, very affordable for everyone to get in. Cheapest in the industry, and it gets you access to everything on the website. So get on over there to shipitnation.com, and also make sure you subscribe to this channel. Trying to get over that 4,000 number. I know we were like within 20, and then we got a couple more. So we're very, very close. It says 3.99. So like we're right there. A couple more, get to that 4,000 number. Appreciate all the support.
Yeah, why don't you guys do something for me? Grab your kids' tablets, right? Go in on their account. Grab your wife, your spouse, your significant other, whoever it is. Make their account. Go, just click that subscribe button. You can turn the notifications off, right? So you're not blowing up their phone or their device, right? But hey, who knows? Maybe your kids want to learn and get in the streets early too. So they see that alert. They might turn off the old TikTok or whatever they're scrolling on, right? And click in and watch some sports breakdowns here. But nah, I do think this slate is definitely interesting. Obviously, pay attention to the news. And to Hoop's point, we do try and get our content up. All sports we're up super early, but NBA is the one sport where obviously news is heavily reliant. So yeah, we could throw up early stuff, which we try to. But sometimes on news slates, it's hard. We're going to try and at minimal have our stuff up, our core plays and things like that up at least an hour before lock. And obviously any changes will be highlighted on yellow is kind of how we approach it over on the website. Kind of like last night, right? Big slate, lots of news. A lot of our cores didn't go up until about an hour or so before lock, but then we constantly changes in over the whole course. We're always in the Discord answering questions, and we do still have the slate plan, which our guy Rio has been crushing, like you mentioned. And he has that thing up. He has that puppy up the night before, obviously out there on the West Coast. I'm firmly in the sheets. I know Hoop's firmly in the sheets, and I wake up in the morning with a tag from the Discord saying, "Hey, slate plan's already ready for tomorrow." At about 2 a.m, this guy tags the chat. So we're grinding out here. We appreciate y'all joining, and good luck tonight in your contest. Again, head over to Mayo Media Network. Check out that Thursday Night Football Showdown breakdown. You guys did amazing over there, and there's still $500,000 up top. Hoop, gross as the game might seem, whether you think it's going to be gross or not. $500,000 in your pocket. You're not going to say that's gross by any means. So that's going to do it for this edition of the NBA show right here on the SHIPIT Nation. Again, SHIPITNation.com. Head over there. Grab your package, your 6-month, your yearly, or your monthly package. Check us out. See what we got. We got all sports. We got the best content, best projections, and best tools in the industry to make yourselves be better DFS players. But for Hoop, I'm Nadesify. We'll catch you guys next time. Good luck tonight. Let's ship it.